Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to round 2 of the ATS-Gaming Tournament number 2, brought to you by Steeler Series Complet and ATS-Gaming.com, ATS-Gaming.com. Support this tournament. It's putting on a pretty nice amount of money for a couple of weekend tournaments so far that have looked pretty strong, and I'm B1 as usual, and I will be bringing you coverage from this tournament, but so far we have a matchup between TCM Gaming and Team Property. Both teams are from Sweden. TCM, formerly known as Sven Hunters, definitely made their impact in defense, beating a lot of very strong teams, but they have faded out a little bit. Meanwhile, Team Property, I've honestly never heard of them before, but I guess hopefully they'll put on a good fight. Almost had a little bit of a misspeak right there, but TCM gonna be on Magnus as usual. Meanwhile, Team Property gonna be on the Batrider, saying, you know, you have first pick. Batrider could be a strong option. TCM gonna be at the Wisp. Clearly, they fear the Wisp, as I think TCM are trying to get their hands on Coddle, as that seems to be the direction they're aiming for. Coddle or Nyx, and Team Property are gonna have to make a decision. Which one do we want to give up? And they're gonna give up Coddle, as TCM have definitely been making great use of Coddle so far. In their first matchup, he got an ultra kill 6 minutes in against their first opponents. It was pretty funny, but anyways, yep, just waiting on the Coddle pick. TCM, let's go. No surprises here. Meanwhile, how will Team Property respond to that? Against Coddle, it's very difficult because he's such a strong tri-lane versus tri-lane hero. He does so much damage in AoE from such a long range away. And he does pretty significant right-click, as well as having a high base and movement speed, so you really can't catch up to him. You will just get kited around. And even in a tri-lane versus solo lane scenario, Coddle can just stack creeps, work his way towards the mechanism very fast, but Team Property going to respond with Lifestealer. Definitely the carry of the month. Recently, he's had something like a ridiculous win percentage, as he is definitely making his mark known. Rage is just so powerful, and just gives him an otherwise not really the tankiest of carries, just so much utility in terms of surviving battle, focusing, and just bringing down a target very quickly. And Team Property also going to respond to Shadow Demon, so really gonna have Lifestealer soak up the Coddle Blast and have Shadow Demon scout him out with Shadow Poison. So if they pick up one more Initiator, Coddle will have to watch his positioning. And Team Property getting two of the strongest early game heroes in the game. Lifestealer, very strong, probably one of the strongest early to mid game carries in the game. And he's a carry that also scales quite well into the late stages of the game. And Shadow Demon, of course, one of the best gankers in the game. Meanwhile, TCM, it's going to be interesting to see how they respond. They're going to have to choose probably their mid solo here and leave their secondary support for the second phase of picks. But as it is, TCM running out of time. I guess in terms of mid solos, they could choose something like a Puck, Queen of Pain. Darkseer is still left in the pool. But if you do get Darkseer, you may just leave yourself open to not having too much early game damage. Of course, Kyle does do a lot of damage, but Darkseer is a hero who wants to get a lot of experience. But I think in this game, and also the try-on capacity of Lifestealer Shadow Demon, as long as you beat out the Surge, the 2.5 second disruption of Shadow Demon will be more than enough for Lifestealer to get in position and just completely mitigate the Surge. So I think that is the reason why TCM is hesitating on the Darkseer choice. But I think Darkseer is still the best option. Vacuum into Illuminate, Vacuum into Wall, and just the overall utility of Darkseer is just super useful. But TCM going to respond with the Gyrocopter as well as Puck. Now, Puck has definitely seen a revival. He is so very difficult to deal with. Of course, the biggest factor of Lifestealer's survival is that rage. So if you blink in silence and burst on Lifestealer before you get the rage off, that is a very potent mechanism. And of course, Puck does have the tendency to beat most mid lane heroes. Goes even with Queen of Pain. Goes even with Batrider. And Team Property going to choose a Darkseer for themselves. Going to get them a bit more mid game. So far, nothing too out of the ordinary in regards to the picks and bans. But Gyrocopter, just want to talk about him a little bit. No Tyranitar definitely made him popular with support Gyrocopter, but he's such a versatile hero in the Western scene, can be played as support. But recently, we have not seen support Gyrocopter at all. We've seen him mid lane, seen him as a carry. He's just, you can play with support, he does a lot of damage to support, but in order to really fully utilize the hero to its full potential, you should play him as a farmer or a mid solo. Use the flat cannon, take advantage of that to push the creep waves, get the split push going, get the Shadow Blades, and Shadow Blade initiation Gyrocopter allows him to position himself on a solo target and ensures that every rocket on his attack does hit. Meanwhile, Storm Spirit is going to get banned out by TCM. Definitely seeing a lot more resurgent Storm Spirit's play because of his synergy with Leicester. The Infest Bomb with Storm Spirit diving in from halfway across the map does so much damage, and it essentially mitigates a hero completely, especially with squishy heroes like Puck, Gyrocopter, and Cupid all being played at the moment. Meanwhile, Team Property, they probably know that Puck is going mid and Cupid and Gyrocopter are going to be lane, so they might start banning out off-lane heroes right here. Heroes that can really do decently against Leicester Shouting. I think Windrunner could be a solid choice, even though Windrun isn't really the best escape mechanism. The fact that she's ranged, the fact that Leicester will have to sort of, you know, go up close and personal. If Windrunner has a ward, she can escape. Nature's probably could be a ban as well. Laundry just gets completely hammered by Leicester Shouting, so I don't expect the Laundry would ban whatsoever. What are their long lane heroes? That's pretty much it. But Team Property going to ban out the Phantom Lancer, so maybe they're predicting Gyrocopter mid, Puck off lane. But Phantom Lancer and Gyrocopter is sort of a weird pairing because they both require so much farm in order to really maximize their potential. But Phantom Lancer does do quite well against Leicester, even though they do have two pseudo counters to Phantom Lancer in this form of Darkseer and Shoudian. Heroes that are easily able to replicate clones, so I don't think TCM would have picked up Phantom Lancer in this game. You know, TCM, are they going to try to ban out more heroes to protect their Puck? That's usually what they do when they pick up their mid-soul in the first phase. They just focus all of their heroes to protecting their mid-soul. So I guess Queen of Pain would be a strong ban right here. Team Property could run a dual lane mid, Darkseer. I guess the Darkseer, he does do quite well in the mid-soul position. Maybe TA could be a ban here as well, as I think she'd be very, very strong with the Darkseer and the Shoudian support. But TCM going to bat the Lone Druid saying we're not going to pick him up ourselves. And I guess they just really fear the Ion Shell Bear coming in. And that's a thing against Coddle. When you send the Ion Shell Bear with the Surge in, it just does so much damage to the Keeper that he's sort of forced to retreat. And once the Coddle is forced to retreat, you have so much momentum pushing into a tower. And keep in mind, Darkseer, a natural mechanism carrier, a natural pipe carrier, does have a lot of ways you can deal with the Keeper of the Light. Meanwhile, Team Property thinking long and hard. They probably shouldn't ban out the Queen of Pain. They still are lacking mid-soul hero. If I were them, I think, I don't know, Puck could go in the off lane, but I think TCM are more likely to run Gyrocopter as a safe lane farmer. Although they did, I don't know, he could go in mid lane as well. So that might be their hesitancy on picking up a TA right now. Because I think Puck does lose to TA mid, but Gyrocopter does beat TA mid. Because the Rocket Barrage just instantly nullifies our fraction super easily. Meanwhile, TCM thinking long and hard about their last ban. This is a completely different beast from the first game. They're on even footings, they're both from Sweden. And to be fair to Apple Kingdom, or to be fair to TCM, Apple Kingdom is not really a challenge. But Team Property, I wonder if they've scrimmed against each other, but as it is, they made it into the second round, so obviously they beat their first opponent, and this time the bracket is completely filled, so they did in fact probably beat their first opponent. But TCM gonna dip into their last remnants of reserve time. Not too sure what they're winning on. I think Queen of Pain is probably the obvious ban here, because both of their mid-souls that could potentially run are not really that good versus Queen of Pain, but no, they're gonna pick up Lina. Or ban out Lina. Saying Shoudian Soul Catcher with the Lina burst damage is so powerful. And I guess they fear the tri-lane potential that could come in from a Lina support. But if I were Team Property, this would be my chance to snatch up Queen of Pain. Because TCM obviously not going to pick it up themselves unless they run Puck off lane, Gyrocopter safe lane, Queen of Pain mid lane. But that laning setup just means so much experience, so much farm has to be distributed amongst so many heroes. But Team Property, on the other hand, two components of their safe lane have their off lane are pretty secure. So their laning setup is a little bit more predictable. But Team Property gonna dip into some of their reserve time as well. I guess TCM right now, the most noble hero that they're lacking is a secondary support. Gyrocopter, again, can function as secondary support, but he's usually, these days especially, I have not seen support Gyrocopter in the past 3 weeks. Just going to put that out there. So, yeah, if I were Team Property, well, the problem is with that, as Alchemist is going to be the ban. Not too sure about that. Maybe TCM has been running him a lot and they've scrimmed against it. But Alchemist, interesting. I don't think that would have been a choice by TCM in this game. But who knows? This could be, you know, a mind game situation. These teams could have scrimmed against each other quite frequently. But as it is TCM, gonna be able to snatch up whatever hero they want, whether it be a secondary hero, secondary support, or something like an offlane hero.
10 seconds remaining.
But this pick will definitely help determine some of the lanes, as right now the lanes are still very vague by TCM. All we know for sure is that Cupid Light will be supporting a trial lane, as TCM going to pick up the Rubik. This is going to be a farming gyrocopter most likely, or a mid-soul gyrocopter, but it won't be a support gyrocopter. It could be Puck on the offlane. They could run an aggressive trial lane with Rubik. Cupid Light telekinesis into lift is very, very nice. But again, the problem of running an aggressive trial lane against a Leicester is that especially with the Cupid Light, is that so much of your damage is mitigated just by the fact of rage and defensive disruption. So I don't think that TCM will necessarily run an aggressive trial in this game. But they're going to have to choose their offlane hero or their carry with their next choice. You know, Team Property. Dipping into a bit more of their reserve time right now. As Rubik is quite a strong hero. If you steal something like Vacuum with the call down, going to be very, very useful. Steal the wall, turn around a team fight. Steal the rage means that you can't target the Rubik, which is going to be very, very annoying. Steal the purge or disruption just means that your carry is just going to have a more of a difficult time. So Rubik, of course, is such a strong hero, so very versatile. And he's one of those heroes who I feel like if this was a 3-ban 2-pick system, or 3-ban 2-ban system, he'd be banned out a lot more. But as it is, there's just so many powerful heroes that Rubik has sort of been overlooked, but he's been winning a lot recently. His winning percentage has been through the roof.
10 seconds
and guys, just to let you know, I am not using push to talk, so let me know if my audio is cutting out, as it didn't cut out in the last game if I'm not mistaken, but who knows, XSplit could just be a total... XSplit could be on its PMS at the moment and just totally screw me over. Team Property going to pick up the Luna. Interesting. This could be the indication... No, they're not going to... They could put Darkseer mid and put an aggressive trial of Lifestealer, Shoudian top, and have Luna safe lane farm.
5 seconds remaining.
But double carry with only one support at the moment. It gives them a lot of mid-game DPS, and so far TCM, if their Gyrocopter dies, they're lacking a lot of physical damage. But TCM running out of reserve time very rapidly, going to pick up the Weaver. Weaver, pretty strong against Leicester. It is the go-to choice against Leicester these days. But there are mechanisms in place. You have Purge, you have Disruption, and if you have some Dust, you should be able to get the Weaver down, as long as you can sort of bait out the Shikuchi. Or bait out some of the duration of the Shikuchi. You can't bait out a full 4-second duration of the Shikuchi, but still, that's an option. But yeah, I guess, if I had to guess, this is going to be an offensive trial of Shadow Demon, Shadow Demon Lifestealer and some support. Darkseer mid, Luna off, or Luna safe. Not too sure, but there's the last secondary support, so it is going to be a Darkseer mid. Going to be interesting to see how he fares against the side of TCM. But Team Property, what they are lacking in terms of overall laning security, they are more than make up for in auras, in mid-game potential. They have Vengeful Spirit, Vengeance Aura, they have the Luna Blessing, giving them so much damage that supports like Shouty and Vengeful Spirit, they hurt. And Vengeful Spirit, one of the better roaming supports in the game, because they're stun, very low mana, or very low cooldown, and does quite a bit of damage. So we'll find out very, very shortly how this game decides to show up, or how this game is going to progress as both teams pick up their heroes. What we're waiting for is TCM to pick up their Cupid Light, but if ATS Property are going to run an aggressive trial lane, because unless they run a mid-soul Luna, then they're going to be very, very difficult. Then, yeah, I mean, they're not going to run a mid-soul Luna. Luna Can hinder sub mid-tilt, but definitely not as good as something like a Puck or a Gyrocopter. But we'll take this time to introduce the players and teams. It's gonna be Dansk Dota BB playing the Darkseer. Lavixus BB2 is playing the Vengeful Spirit. The Create is playing the Luna. Fudgy is playing the Shoudian, and Fishy is playing the Lifestealer. Me outside of TCM, we're gonna have Blueberry Ninja playing the Keeper of the Light. CHW is playing the Puck. LVZ is playing the Rubik. Quix is playing the Gyrocopter, and Go Audio is going to be handling that Weaver. So Quix, the trademark farmer for the side of TCM, is going to be playing the farming Gyrocopter, so this will not be a mid-solo Gyrocopter. It is in fact going to be a mid-solo Puck. But anyways, as we're getting back into the game, just checking out items. The pause came 3 seconds after the game started, so nobody had the chance to pick up items. But yeah, it's going to be an aggressive child, most likely by property. Really can't see any other ways they can lane this. But yeah, Lifestealer picks up the Stout Shield, Salve, Tangos, no items pooled to him. So this is just the max amount of items that Lifestealer can get with his gold. Vent Spirit with an early game smoke and some sentry wards. As no, this is not going to be a Ghost of Challenge. This is going to be a Lifestealer mid. They're predicting the Puck mid, and they are going to be correct. And Puck against Lifestealer. I have never seen this lane ever. But I imagine Lifestealer does okay. He can use Rage to dodge the orbs, and considering both teams are playing on the same server, he should be able to Rage dodge the orbs. He's not really going to try to kill the Puck, but I guess he'll function similar to a Bloodseeker. He's just going to use his Feast to regen up HP and should be okay. And every time he could be potentially harassed, could go into the jungle and get a bit more farm that way.
30 seconds to battle.
But meanwhile, it's going to be a Lunatron being run. And the fact that Venge picked up such an early smoke means that they do have intentions of shutting down the Puck. As Go Audio is going to go in the offlane, has Ring of Protection and 6 Tangos, no items pulled to him, I do believe. CHW has a set of Tangos pulled to him, but that's it. But he will have a little bit of an easier time lasting against Lifestealer. 6 damage is going to help quite a bit, as 63 base damage versus Lifestealer 64. It will allow him to at least compete with Lifestealer for last hits and denies. You know, Quix, no items pulled to him. Such a big part of Dota these days. The pulling of the items for Western scenes really helps determine a lane. More often than not. But as it is, Go Audio should be okay in this trial lane, because these heroes do not have too much range, and Go Audio can just Shikuchi away. And meanwhile, Shadow Demon going to try to pull and stack this wave, or yeah, stack this wave. I don't think he's going to pull it unless he gets Shadow Poison at level 1, which he could do if he doesn't want to be too aggressive. But we are going to see rotation in immediately by the side of TCM, saying, okay, it's going to be Darkseer top. We have a Gyrocopter to deal with them. We can use Flak Hand to push out the lanes. And Gyrocopter has a bit more range. He is a range hero, so he can mitigate some of the Ion Shell harassment. And once he picks up the Tranquil Boots, he should be okay. So some nice rotation in. And this is why I was questioning the decision to put Luna in the defensive trial rather than the Lifestealer. I think it would make much more sense if you put Aggressive Tron, because Lifestealer can mitigate so much of the Illuminate damage and the Telekinesis and the Fable damage. Meanwhile, Luna, she can run fast, and she can do a lot of damage herself, but I feel like Lifestealer can just do so much. And already Sentry Ward has revealed itself, and it is going to get immediately dewarded by this nicely placed deward on the side of TCM. So far, TCM playing very, very sharply. As Lifestealer going to take this time to farm up. He's already level 3 and is keeping up the Puck pretty nicely. But Puck should have an easy time rune controlling, but Lifestealer just going to use his time, pick up a regen rune, so he's going to get back up to full HP without expending any regen whatsoever. You know, Weaver already picks up the Ring of Basilisk, going to fuel his teammates' mana as well as give him some armor, which is going to be pretty useful against Luna. As Gyrocopter does pick up the first blood against the Darkseer, so low in terms of HP. Man, how could I miss that? As Puck, I heard the orb, but I guess it's just going on the Lifestealer. As Quick's gonna use all of his Tangos just to heal up, but that should not happen if you're a Darkseer. Meanwhile, Rubik on the bottom lane does pick up a kill. Vengeful Spirit is on the retreat. my observing today is definitely shoddy, as Weaver with the Gemini attack will finish up the kill on Vengeance Spirit. So far 3-0 in favor of TCM, as Darkseer trying to go on the offensive, seeing that Quix is so low HP, but if Darkseer approaches too close, Rocket Barrage just instantly melts the Darkseer. So he really needs to have level 2 Ion Shell, which he does. May needs level 3 as well, as the 2 supports on the side TCM gonna cut off the pull spots and will pick up a Centaur for their troubles. So nicely done, as Darkseer gonna use this time to pull away the creep waves and use the Ion Shell to the best of its ability to really get the farm going.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
You know, Fishy with the boots of speed, gonna be able to handle himself against the puck reasonably well. Not outfarming the puck, but not being beaten by the puck. This is sort of just some farm, but really, he's not getting more farm than he would in a safe lane. But I guess with the picks that Property were having, they had to do Tron vs Tron in any case. But as it is, Weaver already getting a lot of gold. 14 CS, Meow and Luna, only 8 CS. As we might see a rotation in. Again, the side of the Rain are playing pretty much in the dark, no vision being granted them. The Dire are pretty much playing in the dark as well, but at least they have a Sentry Ward, and they have some kill advantage to their lanes. As Illuminate's going to be channeled, Disruption is going to cast Mew on the top lane. Oh, Darkseer is just going to surge away, but Luna is going to get the Lunar Blessing off. Will pick up the kill with the help of the Soul Catcher. Meow Go Audio's trying to go on the offensive, trying to finish off Fudgy with the Illuminate. Is able to clean him up, and now Luna is on a lot of trouble. She is going to die to keep the light. And once again, Blueberry Ninja stealing every kill left and right, as Vengeance Spirit going to be in a bit of trouble. Has the Magic Missile, no use of Terror. As some nice dodging, but basically the Shotgun Illuminate able to clean up the kill. Shotgun Illuminate, I mean, Keep It Alive has so much recoil that it might as well be a Shotgun Illuminate. Meanwhile, Puck able to clean up the Lester on the mid lane. So far, 7-1 in favor of TCM. They're just rolling through their opponents at this stage in the game. Illuminate doing a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Disruption, Soul Catcher going down onto the Rubik. Rubik is forced to retreat, but Lester again. Double damage up on Puck when you have no rune control as a melee hero who has no farming mechanism. You will, unfortunately, give up a double damage from time to time, and when that happens, you are going to die to a Puck. And you didn't have to use a Dream Call. Very, very nicely done. As these supports just waiting in the shadows, waiting sinisterly. Disruption's going to go down to the rig, but here comes the advance of the Weaver. As Magic Missile goes down, they will finish off the rig, but Illuminate once again doing so much damage. They don't care about giving up supports. And this is actually really clever positioning by TCM. They're putting the rig purposely in front so that the enemy team will have to always focus him, because he's in front. He's easy to kill. But they just push the Keeper Light a little bit further away, and then have Weaver rotate in, and then they pick up a double kill with Illuminate, just doing maximum amounts of DPS. And this stage of the game, Blueberry Ninja will be making his way towards the mechanism very, very soon. So far, Team Property not having the best of starts. As this is, again, one of the reasons why Keeper Light is a top-tier pick. Not only is he retarded to push against, but he is so strong in challenge versus challenge scenarios, does so much AoE damage with a relatively low mana cooldown and basically for free, as the Illuminate's gonna fly in. Gonna miss the Luna. But the Dire know where the Luna is, and now Luna is gonna have all her farm bent, and meanwhile the lift goes down onto the Venture Spirit. Weaver is actually gonna dive to try to pick up the skill. He has one more Shikuchi left in the bag, but Shouting is in place to cast Defensive Disruption. Weaver's gonna use his time to salve up. Nicely done by Go Audio. Is gonna take a lot of damage. Soul Catcher's onto the Weaver. Weaver is gonna die, but meanwhile Darkseer is gonna rotate in. We'll finish off the Rubik. Question is, can Blueberry Ninja escape? One more Lucid Beam will pin Blueberry Ninja in place, but Lester unfortunately not in place to rotate around. Being initiated on by the Puck, it looks like. No, but Blueberry Ninja is going to get chased to death by the Darkseer, and that gives up a huge streak towards the Darkseer. Definitely. Nice rotation by the Darkseer. Helped them pick up 3 kills. Helped secure. It was 2-10 at that season game, so it was 3-1 in that engagement. But this is going to allow Jackroft to get a lot of free farm, push the tower, and really punish that rotation by the Darkseer. But it looks like this tower will not yet be picked off, as Meow Weaver is going to try to chase the Venture Spirit to the ends of the earth. The Venture Spirit, not enough mana for the stun, as the Gem attack will pick up the kill. Meow Soul Catcher is in place, but still Shikuchi level 4 has such a short cooldown, easily able to escape the wrath of the Luna and the Shadow Demon. Meanwhile, Leicester is saying, screw this lane, I'm going jungle. And that is just not a good sign, because Puck should be able to pick up a very, very fast Blink Dagger, and meanwhile Illuminate's constantly flying in, and Ray ain't gonna bend this bottom tower, it seems like, as they're just constantly forced to heal, use so much restores. Keeper Light, such an annoying hero. And this is why he's first pick, first ban. Miyago Audio secures himself that tower. Gonna probably make his way towards Lincoln Sphere. Interesting, he went for the phase boots. I guess really wants mobility when the Shikuchi's down. And of course the damage in conjunction with the Gemma attack, pretty significant. So that could be another option. As he is constantly having his mana refilled by the Keeper Light, so does not need the Intreads to fuel up his Shikuchi spam. Meanwhile CHW very close to his dagger up. We'll have the dagger up at about 10 minutes into the game, maybe even sooner, maybe 9.5 minutes. And at this rate, prOperty is just getting pinned down as Weaver is diving in with no fear. As Illuminate's going to fly in, Telekinesis is not in place. Illuminate is going to drain 3/5 of Vengeful Spirit's HP. Such a strong spell, as now Keep the Light not even level 7, so Illuminate can actually do more damage. That's a scary thing. Meanwhile, Puck able to clean up the lifesteal with the double danger yet again. So this means Puck should have a 9.5 minute dagger. Very much ahead of schedule, especially when he picks up Treads, a wand, and a null, and a bottle. This is pretty much the fastest dagger timing you can ever get as a Puck. Meanwhile, Go Audio senses that there is a Luna in the woodwork. Gonna cast a Swarm, revealing the Luna. Keep in mind, Swarm gives you sight. Gonna use the Telekinesis to lift him back. Eclipse is gonna be channeled. Didn't even matter. Luna died before she even knew what hit her. And meanwhile, the Magic Missile is in place. Gonna stun Go Audio for quite a bit. They are gonna sacrifice Go Audio, but Illuminate once again pushing back everybody. Meanwhile, Gyrocopter with help with the Puck. Gonna rotate, push in top. They are gonna sacrifice Rubik. But in exchange, they are going to do a lot of damage. This tier 2 lifesteal is in position, but Puck is like, I'm not scared of you anymore. As he should have his dagger and a lot of gold as well. Could go for something like Yules. Instead, gonna pick up the Dagon. I like this choice. Gonna help really allow the Puck to be a lot more aggressive. Unfortunately, Quicks might pay for this gank with his life. The Purge onto the Lifestealer. No, Puck just says lol. That Dream Coil onto the Darkseer. Puck will eventually die. Won't even kill the Darkseer, as Puck is gonna buy back. The killing spree goes in favor of the Lifestealer. Definitely gonna help out quite a bit, as prOperty is not out of it just yet. But the fact that the Lifestealer is so underfarmed, the fact that Luna has an astounding 13 CS, is not going to help them out. It means that they're not going to have too much impact in mid-game teamfights for quite a bit. But Lester now does have that level 4 rage, but it doesn't matter. He gets Silence and Dagon before he even knew what hit him. And I'll tell you what hit him. It was a Puck with a frickin' Dagon. That's what hit him. As this is not a troll build. Puck is one of the better Dagon carriers. He needs dirt burst damage, has a lot of extra mana, and I mean, if you can get it early enough, at this stage, Dagon pretty much drains a third of your HP if you're a squishy support, or even a Lifestealer. As Meow Weaver making his way towards a BKB, already has Medallion. This Weaver is filthy rich. As the warding continues, there might be a rotation in by the Puck. Gonna pop the invisibility rune. They're trying to catch off the Radiant heroes. They seem to sense something is up, as Darkseer is gonna get Silence, gonna get Dagon, and Fade bolted. And even Darkseer, one of the tankiest Intel heroes, died to a barrage of 3 nukes. That is not a good sign. As he went for the mechanism, but I think in this game, well, he's gonna have to try and finish the cloak, I think. You know, Shadow even gonna scout him out, but just look at the positioning of TCM. They're completely suffocating the Radiant at this stage in the game. At 11.5 minutes in the game, at almost 12 minutes game, this type of map control is very, very difficult to overcome, especially with a hero like Luna with minimal farm. Vengeful Spirit, not even level 6. I think if they had Swap online, they might have an opening in terms of picking off a Spore and try to get some sort of map control. But as it is, it's gonna be a while. And they're going to lose their bottom tower at the same time. Looking at the goal graph, already almost at 15k, 12 minutes in the game. Experience graph over 7.5k advantage for the Dire. TCM looking very sharp as Rubik's going to get stunned in place. But Rubik is always the bait in these engagements, so maybe that's why prOperty's so hesitant to go in that. prOperty actually had no vision, so he did not know where the puck was. And meanwhile, the Gyrocopter going to push in. We'll have that Manta style, or the Yasha at the very least, up very, very soon, as Rubik is going to get the lift going. Gonna lift the Darkseer right into the Illuminate, and Gyrocopter picks up an easy tower. Meanwhile, Magic Missile for a Surge. At this stage in the game, Venture Spirit very low mana cost, as Eclipse is going to be used trying to pick off the Gyrocopter without any backup. I think Team prOperty getting a bit flustered, as you really need that Eclipse for team fights. But now it's going to be down for the next 160 seconds. And I don't honestly know where the damage is going to come from on the Radiant without the Eclipse. As now Puck, once again with the dagging kill. Actually, the Disruption might help to save the Puck, as it's going to phase shift up. Puck will most certainly lose his life right now. As Blinding Light, oh, will Puck actually escape? Nice Shadow Poison, scouting out the Puck, but he's going to escape. Oh my god. That Disruption. Miscommunication and bound by Team prOperty. Can't blame the lag, because they're both Swedish teams. So just a lot of miscommunications, and TCM playing very, very collected, very, very composed, and just pouring on the pressure. Rubik's going to have himself an urn. Gyrocopter clearing on a stack has a Yasha. Well, not even stack. Going to stack up some camps. Probably going to heal up as well. As he had a bottle. Maybe he's going to have the bottle delivered to him as well. No, I guess he never picked up a bottle in this game. And TCM with the medallion, going to try to go for Roshan. Who's going to tank it? I guess all of them are going to tank it. They have the mechanism up, so I guess that's the cue for the Roshan at this stage. They're going to use the mechanism, going to give them some HP and armor. And Radiant can't even hope to fight them without an Eclipse. It's not even a contest. They just can't fight them. Especially without a wall. Darkseer level 9, so he will have that wall up very, very soon. But much too late. As Gyrocopter picks up an Aegis, here comes the blink in by Puck. And Shadow Demon gonna get spotted out. They were trying to avoid using Dream Coil, and you saw Shadow Demon actually lose pretty much all of his HP. I think he escaped with... What did he escape with? He escaped with 20 HP. That is ridiculous. As TCM gonna push in, try to clean up the tier 2. Darkseer gonna try to get a split push going, but he's still, even though he's level 9, he's quite far away from level 10. Only 163 out of the 1,000 experience needed. And this middle tower should fall uncontested. And with the mechanism, even if they get a good Eclipse, there's really just not too much hope. As Darkseer gonna rotate away, this tower under a lot of pressure. Vacuum gonna use the Darkseer just to clear up some more creeps. If Darkseer picks up the mechanism right now, no, he should be still rather far. He has died 3 times. As Dream Coil is going down the bottom lane onto the Luna. Puck not even juking, just saying, come at me, bros. As the swap goes down to the Puck. If he blinks out from this, I will laugh. Nope, Venture does pick up the kill, but Puck dies second time, Biozak a second time. Always in the thick of things. I think at this stage it's more just a lulls buyback rather than a tactical buyback. But Gyrocopter just gonna clean out the stack. I guess when Mantis finished, they're gonna push in. But still, you don't want to leave a team with a Luna and a Darkseer and a Lifestealer. Too much openings. They will be able to punish you for very minimal items, Lifestealer especially. And if Darkseer finishes the mechanism, that will give the Radiant teamfight an added dimension, as Puck might very well lose his buyback right now. The poisons are being stacked. Here comes a call down onto the Luna. Luna once again overextending herself, trying to kill the Puck. As Gyrocopter is going to lose his Aegis right now, but will respond with it up. Question is, will the Dire reinforce it? As Keep Light going to get himself in position. Here comes the Puck. As the Blind Light going to push everybody back. Venture Spirit is going to get cleaned up, as it's going to be a 2 for Aegis exchange. And meanwhile, here comes the Rax push onto the tier 3. GG is called by Team prOperty. Not even going to wait out, knowing that they were severely outmatched. OP Sven Hunters were the name of TCM, as Sven Hunters taking 2 games in the span of 27 minutes. They're looking quite strong. But again, I guess we'll have to find out how they fare against real competition. The defending champions out of Tangos is in this tournament. And we'll see. We will see how TCM handles themselves. But as it is, they're going to move into round 3 very, very comfortably without breaking any sweats.
Radiant's bottom barracks has fallen.
But yeah, that's going to be the end of this game and this cast. Thanks for watching. Please follow me on youtube.com/bbon773, twitch.tv/bbon773. ATS-Gaming Tournament number 2. First day, as this is a weekend tournament for about $1,500 or 1,000 euros worth of prizes in gear and cash. But still, not an insignificant amount of prizes, especially for a weekend tournament. But anyway, shouts to ATS-Gaming.com and Then Some Gaming, Complet, and Steel Series for providing this prize pool. And I will be with you all weekend. So thanks for watching, and I will see you in a bit. See ya.